Okay guys, so just a small while ago I rewatched Godzilla King of the Monsters and I decided I feel like it should be smart to make another video soon because tomorrow is my 2-year anniversary on YouTube. I started on September 2nd, 2021 and I've got a lot more notice, viewers and comments and support this year than I did last year, so thank you so much. And I can't believe I made it this far. I officially began September 2nd, 2021. And if you're a Godzilla fan or a gaming fan, then I don't recommend my 2021 videos at all. I find them pretty cringe now that I'm a lot older. Or only 2 years older, but still, small difference. But, anyways, Godzilla King of the Monsters, It was actually a really good film. I'm also currently rewatching Godzilla vs. Kong, so I can also say how I felt about that. I'm going to go through the entire plot of this film. So it starts off with the family of Madison Russell's family. And oh my god, I was so nervous. As soon as I saw Emma Russell, I was like, oh my god, is she worse than I remembered? Because like a year ago when I watched this, I didn't really care about her. I was just enjoying the film. And I appreciated it for being my first film my first Godzilla film, it actually wasn't. Zilla was my first film, but I don't count that as a proper Godzilla. He's just a T-Rex. The Godzilla I was expecting to look for. Anyways, this film is great. It has some perfect emotion. Something's telling me I should have filmed this earlier because I had a lot of stuff to put in my head while I was watching it. I had so much stuff to say. And then we move on to the next bit where Emma Russell is crying due to her being reminded of Andrew. Speaking of Andrew, in the scene where the father yells Andrew looking for him back in 2014, in the final fight scene, I find it really smart how he yelled Madison. It kind of just shows flashbacks to when he was yelling Andrew's name. It went from Andrew to Madison. And yeah, it's kind of nice to look back on. And I've got to admit, man, Sarazawa, I had so much more fun with him than I usually do. Dr. Sarazawa is the best character in this, no question. He's basically the same as the one in 1954. They're both amazing. And unlike Emma Russell, I actually like Madison's father. I will admit it now, I don't really like Emma Russell. However, the dad, I like Madison Russell's dad. I find him funny and charming. However, the mother just doesn't deliver well. King Ghidorah had so many cool ways he could have landed and started attacking out of everything. It was because of some person like Emma had to release him. I found that a disappointing thing. Anyways, we're not up to that bit. They then go to Mothra, and yeah, Mothra looks pretty nice. And then that's when we get introduced to the Orca. And that reminds me, I'm pretty sure we got to see the Orca in GVK as well. And man, the Orca sounds different. Anyway. In the end, I'd give this film a 9 out of 10. It's very close between this and Kong Skull Island to which one my favourite is. But anyways, it's very controversial for me to say this is the best film, but I just think the monster action makes up. There are so many things this film could have done to make it in the top 5 best, but didn't do. And then we spend 25 minutes in the Arctic. I guess that's okay. I will admit, the antagonist of this film is kind of bland, and I don't really like him. And the fact every scene of him kind of gets spoiled with him with Emma Russell. Honestly, in that one scene where they were arguing, I just in that scene where they were having some sort of fight or something, or threatening each other, I was just wishing in my head, oh man, if only it was the antagonist that won, because I just felt really annoyed with Emma. She did so many silly stuff. And in that one scene, after the fight Ghidorah and Godzilla had, which was really cool, by the way, I love every fight Ghidorah and Godzilla had, we then get a scene of Emma communicating with the dad, in some sort of cool thingy, and I was just rooting for the dad the whole time. Like, what kind of decision Emma made? Comment down below what the reason was again. I kind of forgot already. Like, all she said was run. I don't really remember. Like, I feel like if I was Madison, I would just go to the dad's side. Like, because it's like Madison ended up hating the mum for like 45 minutes till they were like, oh my god, I miss you so much in the final fight. And yeah, then we get introduced to Rodan, and man, I love Rodan. Rodan is such a unique monster, and the fact he was chasing the ship full of people around, that was a really fun sequence. He then runs into what they call Monster Zero. I find it easier calling him King Ghidorah. And then they fight. Rodan gets destroyed. And then Godzilla comes to save the day. Godzilla, King Ghidorah, and Rodan heading to Isla Damara at once. Such a cool combination. Godzilla just pounces out of the water and attempts to drown Ghidorah. They then come with a plan saying, why not throw this nuke? It might eliminate Godzilla, but it'll eliminate Ghidorah too. And guess what? Godzilla died and King Ghidorah lived, which made me really annoyed because I was thinking to myself, but Godzilla was destroying Ghidorah in a fight. Give him a chance. You don't need to release a nuke that could possibly attack Isla Damara. It's not only making Ghidorah live while Godzilla dies, because Godzilla's the only one that stands a chance against Ghidorah, but it's also dangerous to the people that live in Isla Damara. Like, I thought that was a very stupid decision. I feel like they should have gave Godzilla at least another 5 more minutes. Godzilla could have killed him if he was lucky, since he's better underwater. And then we just get mostly talking, and then Mothra becomes an adult, and man, I love that bit. But yeah, even Emma said to herself she was ashamed of herself releasing Ghidorah. Like, I had so much stuff to say about her, but I don't even think it's worth it anymore. We all know why she's a disappointment to the movie. And moving on to Sarazawa's sacrifice. Like, it was such a glorious scene, but I also hated it. Oh, and I forgot to talk about Sarazawa's sidekick as well. Like, that other female beside him. I forgot the name. But she looks like the actor that acted from Mrs. Brown from Paddington, the movie Paddington, if you've seen that. But yeah, I think they're the same. I can tell similarities with people in films. It's kind of easy. And Sarazawa's sacrifice is the saddest scene in the film by far, except for now it is. How dare I almost say it was the bit where Emma died. Like, I will admit, Madison and the father screaming when Emma decided to sacrifice herself, yeah, that got me. And maybe Emma's death was a little bit sad, but hey, I'm really glad she wasn't in GVK. She didn't even deserve to get shoutouts in GVK. Because if she was in GVK, she would have ruined it again. But anyways. Right then, so Sarazawa dies. Like, the way Godzilla looks at Sarazawa when he's gonna say goodbye, so heartbreaking and everything. It got me a lot. And then Godzilla re-arises. That's when I got hyped up. He then heads to Boston, where Ghidorah is. And yes, the final fight, the bit I'd love to see. And we get the mum and the dad find Madison. And yeah, that was a sad bit as well. But the fact that I realise sometimes that the way the mother died, it wasn't even King Ghidorah that killed Emma. It was technically Emma that killed herself, if you think about it, because she released Ghidorah, and Ghidorah's the thing that killed her. Actually, no, Ghidorah didn't kill her. It was Godzilla's explosion that killed her. Oh yeah, speaking of Godzilla's explosion, here we get introduced to the one and only Thermo Godzilla, and now he's not as good as Burning Godzilla, but he's still incredible. Like, looking into the soul of Thermo Godzilla, like all the fire around him, the fact he was melting buildings. So awesome. Ghidorah then dies and he does the victory roar. Now I'm done with the plot. And let me do some ratings. So the rating of the story I'd give a 9 out of 10. Actually, maybe an 8. An 8.9. It gets small minus points for the releasing of Ghidorah just because of some human. And anyways, the next thing will be the antagonist, 10 out of 10. Protagonist, also 10 out of 10. Mothra's death was also sad. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention Mothra dying. That also got me. Bet Godzilla was sad. But it is the reason he became burning. Moving on to the characters. Probably the weakest out of all the stuff on the rating list. I'd give that like a 7. I guess Madison was okay in this film. It's just, like I said several times, she did better in other films. But anyways, like, overall characters enjoyable, 7 out of 10. I loved Madison's father. I adored Serizawa. I adored Serizawa's sidekicks. I adored that person that didn't give much screen time but said Serizawa. You know, the consequences of opening and going through that door. I don't know why, I just find that line pretty funny. And I must admit that alleys that were a part of this movie were incredible. Like Mothra, Rodan, Ghidorah, and Godzilla. It's like recreating Ghidorah the three-headed monster, except it's more sad. It's got an adult Mothra. These four as a duo are unbeatable for kaijus. Yes, even the Destroyer and Burning Godzilla can do something like this. Like, you can't add Rodan, Mothra, King Ghidorah, and Godzilla together. That's basically an unbeatable duo. Like big four to add. Like, I still prefer the Godzilla and Destroyer combination to this, but if it's based on the duo, this works really well. And oh my god, the covers as well. I bet when people saw these as teasers, this must have been such a delight, because if I was them, I'd be the same. Something just tells me I wish I was a Godzilla fan back in 2019. Actually, I've heard of Godzilla since like 2017. I started seeing clips of Godzilla 2014 and Godzilla 1954 in 2017. Like, I've known Jurassic Park since like 2014 now. I've been a fan of that for ages. And I've known the Godzilla series since, I think I began to know it in like 2017. But yeah, great movie. What are your opinions on this film in the comments? Like, it has a mix of great and bad. It's probably one of the most puzzling ones to sort out, and I'm pretty sure you all agree that this was probably the most puzzling one to talk about, because it's quite hard to describe the good and bad scenes. I probably missed a lot of stuff I was thinking about saying while I watched the film, but that's my fault. I should have made the review yesterday. But whatever. Next up, you'll expect to see either the Godzilla Designs ranking or the Godzilla vs. Kong review. Comment down below which one you'd rather see. So yeah, Monster Zero's return, epic. I really hope they add like Space Godzilla and Destroyer near the end of Monsterverse. It would, like, doing that would just show nostalgia to the Heisei, and I'd appreciate that. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching and coming along with me to review this movie. But yeah, that's all I have to say for Godzilla King of the Monsters. It's a pretty solid film. Yeah, it's definitely the best one. It beats G14. It only just beats Kong Skull Island, and the hype was better in Godzilla vs. Kong, but the action and emotion was better in Godzilla King of the Monsters. All the Monsterverse films together, it's really hard to decide which one's better. Unlike Casey, where it's quite easy to split out which ones are the best and which ones are the worst, and Millennium and Showa too, these ones actually just feel equally solid. They kind of had the same story in many ways. Like, it just feels the exact same. Anyways, guys, without further ado, that's the end of the review, and I'll see you in the next review, which hopefully will be fun.